And we're live, people. Deluded. I'm back again. First things first, appreciative to having you lot tuned in. Hope you all had a great weekend. And I hope this week is better for you lot, people. Happy Monday. Now, if you're on Twitch, one love. On the topic of Twitch, 5:15, we're actually just, you know what, got a bit of a down day. Might as well have a bit of fun. We'll watch some highlights around Sesko, Kepa, Rodrigo, Zubimendi, so on and so forth for a bit. But that's after. Right now, we're here. I'm sure you lot are on your phones, your laptops, the radio, whatever means of media you have, trying to see what the transfer window is saying for a lot of clubs, but really and truly only our football club. Now, Zubimendi, we've heard this name more times than we care. Big up Zubimendi. Commiserations to you and Mikel Merino for obviously losing the Nations League final, but he's really stood out for Spain in this competition, also stood out for them in the Euros. We've watched the Sociedad stuff. We watched him and his team get terrorized by Man United. He's been linked with us, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Liverpool. We've been round the houses with Zubimendi. So I like the player. I like what he could be for Arsenal. But I'm sure we've probably all emotionally checked out. And whether it's going to be Arsenal or somewhere else, just put us out of our misery. But there's the hijack talks resurfacing. And you would imagine with the Nations League done, and us moving on in that regard, some conclusion is or isn't, depending on where you read, going to be reached about his future. We're still linked with Sesko, still keeping an eye on Gyökeres. We've been linked with Alejandro Garnacho of Manchester United, which I told you lot we would get linked with him. Sometimes this media stuff can be predictable, but nonetheless, let me know your thoughts on him, people. We're going to get into all of that stuff. Don't worry, people. Don't worry, man. Get comfortable. Hey, look at Riley talking nonsense. Hurrah, Arsenal getting piano teeth, top CR7 fanboy, bulk up boy, Garnacho's. Oh, man. DG, stop with the fake news. What do you mean? What fake news? Am I a journalist or am I someone that loves football like you lot? We've got nothing else to talk about. We're going to be here. I am not endorsing or condoning anything. I'm just with you lot, eager to see what's going on. I need nothing more. It's an opportunity to have a conversation and talk football with people who love football, but also, man, my supporters. So in the most respectful way, Kay, if you don't like it, you know where the door is, man. Zubimendi PR spins. How can they spin this? Like, obviously, you do see a lot of gamesmanship where transfers are concerned, but the only way at this point, after all the language around keeping calm, July accounting, all of that kind of stuff, the only PR spin could be that Arsenal have beat the magical Real Madrid to the signing, despite, we all know that the article in the Athletic is going to come out. Real Madrid tried to keep it, tried to turn his head, but Arteta's Arsenal was all he wanted. We've been here before. Kizzy, my guy, one love, man. Hyper, appreciate you, mods. Make sure everybody's smashing the like buttons. DG, which bin do you prefer? Arsenal buying from City, Chelsea, or Man United? Naturally, City in it, because City have been the big bad bullies. They've been the guys. Obviously, I don't want to be disrespectful, but shopping where City's concerned actually got us to this point. We got their coach or assistant manager or whatever Mikel Arteta was. He's obviously rocked up here as a manager, for better or worse. We are in conversations around getting silverware, people. Obviously, they're still part of the squad. Time isn't kind to anyone, which is why we've got to seize the moment. But Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko, we can never disrespect them. And, we're enjoying in some parts the fruits of their labor. Mikel Arteta is very extreme. He said Gabriel Jesus changed our life. Zinchenko was the first that kind of kick-started where Arsenal's concerned, the inverted stuff from the left back. So I would say naturally that, and it's City in it. Like, I wouldn't say so much now because it seems like a changing of guard, but if City, Manchester United, and Chelsea had players available, like there was a plethora, I guess is the word, of players available. Me personally, but my guy, I'm going to be drawn, smash the like, but I'm going to be drawn to Manchester City naturally because these lot have done what we aspire to do. Chelsea got more players than they can care to remember. I think I could pick one or two players. I'll be like, it's all right. And to be fair, you could argue of the question, you're smart enough to answer yourself. It's undoubtedly Chelsea. It isn't of recent. It isn't an Arsenal transfer window if we don't buy somebody from Chelsea. We don't buy a goalie. We're still not talking about defense, and we're still not waffling really about wide areas and up front. So for me, I'd say City. Then you'd say Chelsea. The players I would want from Man United are not available in it. Like, I wouldn't, in theory, just in terms of the ability and what I like from the player, I would not typically say no to Rashford or Jadon Sancho. But where these players are at their moments, the ages, the question marks, sounds dumb, but away from being good players, clearly it wouldn't make sense because obviously I'm a hypocrite, because if you go and get Nico Williams, Sesko, all these guys, they're seen as talented players right now, but It's more the caveat and the carrot of what they could be. But I'd rather do that than, as dumb as it sounds, I know Jadon Sancho's a good player. Left wing, you could bring something, English, all of that kind of stuff. But with what we've seen of Jadon Sancho, for example, in the Premier League, you don't know what you're getting across a 38 game period. So it wouldn't make you don't know what you're getting from him. There's a lot of players that, if we look, as I always say, if we want to be this team that is second and semi-finals and beating up couple teams in big games but not getting over the line, we've got enough. If we want to shift that conversation now to, get into Champions League finals or semi-finals on a consistent basis, or getting over the line in the Prem, or seizing the moment where opportunity presents itself with domestic cups, you need a couple more players that you can bet on. And when you really go through our squad, the majority of the defenders, even the ones you don't rate, obviously you could add the Raya in terms of the defensive unit and Kepa by default now, but the goalies are cool. Defense, we kind of know what we're getting. If we were to say our players of the season, and let me know your players of the season, I'm pretty sure the vast majority, even if you don't give it to people, you're gonna say Timber, you're gonna say Magalhaes, you're gonna say Miles Lewis Skelly, you get where I'm going. And our more consistent players, full stop, are defenders. And then you throw it in Declan Rice based on this season, I'd say Partey. The final third is where you look at, you don't really know what you're getting. I don't think we've got bad attackers, but Saka's the only one that you can bet on. I think Trossard and Martinelli can contribute in squad roles. Not that Mikel Arteta assigned many an attacker, but Trossard by default has probably been one of his best ones, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, we've already got players, the Trossards, the Martinellis, they can help us. They might score some match winners. They'll go through purple patches, but we need someone at the very minimum that's going to do what Bukayo Saka does, or at least 50% on the left-hand side. So that's the majority of our attackers, bar beyond Bukayo Saka. What is the point throwing in a Rashford, a Sancho, etc., etc.? So yeah, it'd be a myth, really. Obviously, if I'm mad, then these kind of guys will Cunha, give us a bell when it doesn't work out, and Buemo, give us a call when it doesn't work out. So I'd rather go over there, man, if I'm honest. No way on God's green earth are we linked with Anthony. You know what? At least the media are saying new things. Big up DG. Is it true you want Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the carpet? Heard you rate him highly. Fake news. I'm not even going to give entertainment to that teammate. Fabrizio was asked about Zubi to Madrid, and he said, no way. Everything is signed. Agreement only pending medical. I hear you, Andre, and that's kind of why I'm cool. But at the end of the day, for as much as the journalists and the more informed people are saying it's basically done, until I see him holding the shirt, everything's up for debate. And at this point, that basically means he's an Arsenal player. If there's a way to go back on that agreement, and Zubimendi really wants to stay in Spain, play for Xabi Alonso, play for the football pinnacle, which is Real Madrid, it's a possibility, isn't it, essentially? But who knows, man? Big up yourself. My man said, please, big up yourself, Sadiq. Please take Garnacho 17 away from us. He already has a song you can sing. Nah, we don't want to sing that, man. We don't need any of them. And again, for Kepa, you're going to sign for us. So clearly they've done their due diligence. But that nonsense you played in that final where Chelsea tried to sub you, you do that at Arsenal, boy. Mikel Arteta, in fact, forget that. Ben White, deal with him. For Garnacho, I actually don't think he's a bad player. I don't think it makes sense for us because we already got him. Boy, Garnacho and Martinelli as my left wing options. I'm going to pull my hair out in it if I'm completely honest with you. I'm not a fan of Garnacho's brother's antics. Yes, you could say that's not Garnacho and all of this, but obviously, you could caveat that with sometimes footballers use their wife's account or their wife or their brother or their, agent to kind of say how they really feel. And I'm not really on that, if I'm honest with you. Like, by all means, you don't have to be a great footballer, but there's that. And also, when I look at Garnacho, I think he sums up to a degree what's wrong with Manchester United in that I'm no Man United fan, but you're playing for the biggest team in England. It's at a testing time. It's a privilege, and you're acting like they're doing you a favor. And if I'm at Ruben Amorim, I support his decision to sell him. Like, I'm sure a lot of United fans wanted him gone, obviously in January. But if I put myself in Ruben Amorim's shoes, first thing, there's bare pressure on me. A lot of fans want me gone anyways. Man United's a mess. I've got to do tactics. I've got to bring players in. I've got to flog players. We didn't get Champions League football. We lost to Spurs. I'd be thinking about all of these things, all the things that you're stressed out. Bearing in mind, that's just managerial stress. This man, God forbid, because we hope everybody's good, but we don't know what's going on at home. We don't know, how his wife feels, his kids feel, God forbid. But if there's any illness with family members, this is a lot of things that people forget managers and footballers have to deal with. They're human like us. So my point of saying that is to say this, bare things to worry about. And you think I want to have to deal with Garnacho's bullshit? United, get him gone, man. just not over here. I thought the Zubi deal was done. Hijack season, Zubimendi changed his mind like gal who don't know what she want to eat. Never trust him. El Nori, Rangers and Cherokee. Arsenal want Garnacho. It's dark. Take Grealish. I like Grealish, man, but the problem is I'm a hypocrite because I know football isn't just about numbers, but I do think when we're bringing in attackers, I need my guys to get numbers, and that's not. It's never been a strength of Jack Grealish is to get crazy numbers. His best season's probably at Villa, so I don't think it makes sense. Beyond me liking the footballer, me seeing how he would tie in. If ability was it, bro, Grealish could cook at Arsenal. But all things considered, it ain't gonna make sense. And kind of, well, I didn't give thoughts to the Anthony links, but you know, somebody said Anthony, Sancho, Rashford, Garnacho, who else? Grealish. With the finances, whether you're going to get them on loan, pay a bit of their wages, or full stop, it's not making sense. Yeah, you could sit here and say, yes, Grealish is obviously a good player, Premier League proven, you know, bit of a chip on his shoulder because you're evidently, you know, being frozen out by City, especially if you don't go Club World Cup. You know, I'm sure you want to go to the World Cup next year with England. You're only going to get that by proving City wrong and all of those things. Beyond that, it don't really make much sense. Zubi ain't going Madrid. They're going to play him over Tchouaméni. No, they need a 6 though. Ironically, they're linked with Angela Steeler, a person that you saw me make a video on last season that I wanted at Arsenal. You see, if Zubimendi says no, go and bring that guy. And Arsenal need to be prepared to bring in anything from, if it was up to me, more, but 1 to 2 midfielders. Because what is the best case scenario for us where we just focus on central midfield, folks? What is the best case scenario? It would be Partey signing a new deal, and it would be Zubimendi coming in. What if Zubimendi goes to Madrid or whatever, and Partey signs a new deal? What if Partey F's off and Zubimendi don't sign? We need an ability to pivot. Now, who those targets are, I wouldn't be able to tell you, my friend. So yeah, man, it is what it is. I can't lie, I don't want Garnacho, but yeah, bringing a Garnacho off the bench would be a good asset for the team. It wouldn't be the worst, but it wouldn't be the best. It's not, and I know it's not about how I feel in the particular moment. It's about what these guys go on and do. But I do want to come out of the summer window feeling, you know what? It's still no guarantee we win Prems and champs and this and that. But I want to feel like we put our best foot forward. Only man in the door is Kepa because nobody wanted him. Boy, it's a mazza, man. I would rather be a star at Arsenal than be a bench player at a club like Madrid. I disagree with that. If I'm honest with you, Real Madrid is Real Madrid. Very few, exaggeration, but very few players could say that they have played for Real Madrid, that they've rubbed shoulders with the stars. You're probably going to win a bunch of stuff, really. And there's been periods where a lot of the bench players have got their moments, like Diaz, Ceballos after a couple of years, ironically at our club in the Wilderness, but it's Real Madrid. If you got an opportunity, Real Madrid typically don't come calling twice. So I'd be going and doing that if I'm honest with you. And even if I did make myself a star like Saliba, for example, I'd be finding myself in Spain sooner rather than later one day. Brother, I don't want him, but we need a bit of what he has. Proper pace. We're too predictable. It's true, but you'd have to ask United fans. I know Garnacho has won games for them, can score goals in that, but how many times has that been the case versus how many times, and like even those that don't like him, how many times has he frustrated them? What is he? Is he a left winger? Obviously you got to be versatile, but are you a left winger? Are you a 10? I'm exaggerating, but is he a false 9? What is he? I need some players I can bet on. I don't want players like Garnacho and what we've already got that I know there's going to be 5 to 10 games you're going to play out of your skin. The next 5 to 10 games, I don't know what you're doing. The next 5 to 10 games beyond that is kind of indifferent. I kind of need a bit more consistent, especially from our attackers, man. Like, especially from our attackers, whether that's, you know, seeing out leads and not dropping points from winning positions, whether that's us being crap in the Premier League and end of the day, we just put the ball in the back of the net and a defeat has turned to a draw has turned to 3 points, like you see against PSG. And in those, well, even a better example probably would have been Bayern Munich the year before. But you look in the Champions League, sometimes you just need quality, man. Sometimes you just need, they don't even necessarily have to be stars. Sometimes you just need to know what you're betting on. And you think about, well, the damage, in my opinion, was done in the first leg against PSG. But you fast forward and look at the second leg where we had a good first 5, 10, 20 minutes where we had some half chances. Of course, you know, PSG defended well. Donnarumma did his thing. But you do wonder if we had a proper left winger, a proper striker, a killer, goals change games. Maybe we get 1, PSG get a bit nervous. Maybe we get 2. Maybe we get 4 on the night. Maybe we still go out. I don't know. But yeah, man, it is what it is, man. Garnacho is a definite no. Sunset, I'm here for it, G. Walker for sale. To be fair, I think if to be fair, Garnacho as well, which has nothing to do with City, you might as well go abroad. Like Napoli, you could see it working for you. Just make sure you behave yourself, because you think them Napoli fans and Napoleon fans, or however they refer to themselves, are going to take some of the BS. Players have been run out for less than that. We buy from these teams bins to help them buy other targets. Some were even linked with. Big up DG. If we get that Manchester United reject, then Berta is a fraud. Nothing has changed. Then be harsh. Give the guy a chance. Zubi this, Real Madrid hijack that. I won't believe a thing until he's holding the shirt. Kepa for 5 M's is a bargain in my eyes. Prem proven over 250 senior appearances, 5 mils peanut. Shameless. The gymnastics are thick these days. From Raw, what's going on there? Take a touch, lad. Take a touch. Man said change the title. Change the title to what, my brother? Change the title to what? You talking about? Hit the like button if you haven't. Come on, what's good, Aiden? Appreciate you lot. What should I name the first? Let's call it 20 minutes for a timestamp, folks. Someone help me out, because I know there's some of you probably watching this on the replay. Zubimendi will play over Tchouaméni. But I can't lie, man. If he doesn't sign for Arsenal, what he does is his business, man. Big up DG. Zubimendi needs to pattern up, fam. He really does. If Garnacho comes, I'll lose my head. I hear you, and you can lose your head. I wouldn't be happy, but at the end of the day, we can scream, shout, shake it all about. If, God forbid, but if Arsenal do buy him and he does play for Arsenal, you can cry as much as you want. We can say, I told you so. It's not this and that. I'm not saying we're necessarily wrong. He would still be at the club. Where would we go from then? If Madrid actually signs Zubimendi, don't be surprised if Tchouaméni is suddenly up for sale. Bring him, man. The Zubimendi stuff is odd. Zubimendi is a confused guy. We need to pivot and move on. It's tiring hearing his name. Get one of the top strikers in ASAP. No Rocky. ASAP, no Rocky. I hear it. I don't understand how players get glazed just for being at Madrid. But it's Madrid, isn't it? Leao looked mint last night when he came on. He could be electric on that left-hand side. He did look very good cameo. And that's the thing. You want to see that from... That's Leao's only issue. You need to be able to impact games on a consistent basis like that. It's very different from if you're starting over 90 minutes and then people are expecting you to do that for 20, 30 plus games. Good player though, man. We are linked with him. I personally don't really buy the Leao links really and truly. But yeah, man. Big man team, whoever gets Towie teeth, boy, is getting a year-long banter. Damn. See what I mean? Even considering Garnacho is stupid, there's a lot better out there. Stop accepting this ish. I don't know him as a person, and I hope that when he moves on, I never want to doubt anyone in life. You go and do your thing, but you seem like a bad egg. We don't have that at our club right now. And if you're gonna be a bad egg, you need to, in my opinion, I think there's got to be exceptions to the rule. If you're gonna be a bad egg, a bit of a troublesome player, which people forget Thierry Henry was a headache in a good way. He was a headache. But I just said Thierry Henry. And we're on the topic of Man United, Eric Cantona. When you can carry, when you got that level, I'm accepting of BS. Garnacho, you're not that. You're a good player. You're not a great player. Behave yourself. And, it's a learning curve for him. When it's all said and done at Man United, the penny's going to drop. It's like us with Matteo Guendouzi. Obviously, he's gone off, been capped for France, living his life. Our team's moved on. But I'm sure Arsenal, Mikel Arteta and everyone would say maybe we could have handled that differently. I'm sure Guendouzi would probably say, do you know what? I still maintain I was right about this. But as a man that's grown up now, getting a bit more mature, maybe I could have handled it in a different way or gone about things a different way. But, we can only learn from hindsight, but we can only live life in foresight. It's crazy, isn't it? On the right, he plays more like an out-and-out winger. On the left, he's more of a cutting and shooting side. I'd rather Garnacho off the left, man. He's one of them. He's too predictable, man. Too predictable. Martinelli is allergic to cutting in, get him out, or looking up. Garnacho is trash, bro. The kid ain't in the talks of him. Is all agents. This guy, DG, is actually talking about this Garnacho thing. Listen, I'm here to entertain you lot. What you lot got to ask me? I'm happy to be here and privileged to be here with you lot, man. So, yeah. Smash the likes, and we are slowly but surely moving to 70k, man. Club trying to go from Martinelli to Garnacho, bro. Do you know how much of a headache that is? And we could be upset about fans, maybe even their teammates could be vexed. But Mikel Arteta, all of you lot, if you dare have Martinelli and Garnacho in a team, you lot can't be upset. You lot have paid for your own headache, man. I don't believe it, man. Naturally, Garnacho's agent. Naturally, if you're doing your job, you're pitching your client to teams, isn't it? You're gonna pitch in the Premier League, you're gonna pitch elsewhere, you're gonna send it out. Like, whether I rate it or not, if I'm Garnacho's agent, you can play off the left-hand side. Arsenal got some young players and all of that. Let's see what they're saying. Chelsea tried to sign you in January, Let's see what they're saying. Has the Napoli interest gone away? Let's see what they're saying. You're gonna pitch him to everybody, in it, really and truly. So you know how rumors are, man. Once you see the rumors, people get up excited and all these kind of things. But you get where I'm going. I would only accept players like Eze, Rogers, Rodrigo, Kudus, Lookman, Leao. Please sign Sesko. I think Garnacho links are made up. Ain't no way Arteta would want that attitude in the dressing room. Exactly, man. And I do think the Garnacho links are wind up, man. Garnacho, if he comes to Arsenal, will stop watching games. But I'm not gonna lie, if a player can make you stop watching games, do you really love us? The only way I accept Sane is by being the fourth attack, pardon me, after a striker, left winger, Cam, sell Trossard, by the way. I wouldn't sell Trossard for a year at the very least. I don't expect nothing good in this transfer window. Don't expect nothing good next season either. Unless something miraculous happens, then I'll say different. Now the media want to push another narrative on Arsenal. Say, joke, they're against us for real, for real. We're just easy to link, know where it happens. Because us Arsenal fans, including me, the game's the game. We bite at it. And we're going to bite at it a bit more in this day and age where we're crying and dying really and truly for signings. With that, we can actually make our first time stamp. What would we call it? Let's say minute 3 to... What would we call it? It's a minute. General... Would Garnacho work at Arsenal? Let's call it that. Let's call it that. Aaron, big up yourself. You don't know about lowercase, innit? I see all your comments. You genuinely don't know about lowercase. But big up you, man. I see you defending myself against some of the trolls. I don't reply to trolling comments 9 times out of 10. In fact, the other day, like, someone was trolling in my comments. I just said one love, and then it kept going on. And then someone else was trolling. I said, thank you, one love. And then I felt bad. The internet's filled with weirdos, man. But anyways, bro, there are some players that we strictly should not sign. Kepa was one of them. The others are Sane and Garnacho. There's more, but we shouldn't have to talk about them. Nobody is an Arsenal fan. Arsenal is against themselves. It's been obvious for 20 plus years. This transfer window will be stressful, and it's only just started, man. So, strap up, man. Garnacho would probably fit a Brighton side. I think Garnacho, if you go to Spain or Italy, I think you can find yourself at a decent club competing in Europe and whatnot. I don't think you're a bad player. I think you got a lot of bad habits. I think you got bad attitude. And I think you just need to calm down. Some man feel bad after job. Bro, for me, I just see it as, boy, people can say what they want in it. Like, it is what it is. Like, one love for the love for the hate, love for being ignored. Like, all of it. Arsenal is like a desert in the transfer window. Hopefully, this is the calm before the storm. I think Martinelli's going to get sold to AC Milan. Afternoon, Gavin, my guy. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on, DG. Please take Garnacho from us. Next time you get trolls, tell them thanks for watching and keep it moving. DG has man on 10 toes in the comments. Bro, it comes with the territory. Like, it comes with the territory. But as humans, like, how can I make it make sense? Like, you lot in your jobs, or like with me making content, 100 people could show you love. The 101st person could say something very nasty, very horrible, and you're geared to focus on that, completely eradicating everything. Just gotta ignore it, man. And in a way, we're winning because they're hitting their likes, probably they're engaging. If they see you, it's nothing but love, and they're commenting. They're helping the algorithm. So yeah, man, we're gonna kill the hate with love, and we're gonna go even further with love. So yeah, on the topic of love, people not feeling the love right now, feeling it from 54 people. Big up you lot who have smashed the like button. If you haven't, you're taking the P. Make sure you're following on Twitch as well, folks. 5:15. We're actually gonna watch for the culture. Let's just watch. Well, I'm sure you won't want to watch Garnacho, but we're definitely going to watch Zubimendi, Sesko, Rodrigo, and whoever I've got in the title, mate. Like, we're over there saving you lot summer football break or none. For 51 years as an Arsenal fan, big up yourself, Kwame. I had no clue. This is the worst thing. Where's your comment gone? For 51 years as an Arsenal fan, this is the worst thing in our club. Who are we going to sign? We don't know. The only thing I would say to our club, don't repeat last summer's antics because, me, keep it calm. As much as I'm frustrated, I'm jealous, I'm seeing other teams making movements, we're thinking what's going on. I can comprehend that, okay, they might not be the signings I want, they might not be amazing, but you'd be an idiot if you thought Arsenal weren't working in the transfer window. That being said, though, when you look at last summer, where we started scrambling around on deadline day, yes, we brought in Marino and Calafiori, I can get it. All I would say is to Mikel Arteta, especially because, to be fair, Berta's coming with a big reputation and he's got to live with it, yeah, but Arteta, you did a lot of talking. You're normally quite diplomatic. As the season ran out, And to be honest, just after it, you were saying I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps. We need to sign level raisers. We need depth. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Make sure it's not like it. I don't have that same feeling I did on deadline day last year. I want our main striker to come before our preseason tour. I don't think you're alone, my guy. Cancel, decent. He scored. Who did he score? Who did he score against, man? Who did he bag against? Not who did Portugal play? Was it France? He scored a good goal, man. I'm not sure his dad would be happy if he signed for Arsenal after the antics. Nonsense title. Zubimendi was never going to Arsenal's PR talk. Anyone seen the Arteta AI vid? I don't know, man. It is the same old Arsenal views on sport, but I'm gonna allow them until I see something. Blessings, bro. Love, life, love football. Come on, Casanova. Oh, you living up to your name. Smooth with the lyrics there. Garnacho shows lack of creativity and recruitment. Big up, Steve. I don't buy it. I mean, Arsenal have done stranger things, and definitely under Mikel Arteta, we've probably dealt with more Premier League to Premier League than we ever have, really. So it wouldn't surprise. I can't say I'd be shocked if we get Garnacho, but I would be, because I don't know how you help us. And also, you're probably going to be on big wages as well, because you are young, because you are an international footballer, and all of those kind of things. So it'd be interested, man. You probably already commented on signing Kepa, but I think giving Chelsea money to fund the Mick move is a bad move, in my opinion. I'm not being funny, yeah, but Chelsea got peas, bro. Like, I hear it. Like, you can have your comments about signing Kepa, doing business with Chelsea. I don't disagree, but this whole we're giving them 5 million to fund other stuff, bro. Chelsea have spent £1 billion, and they're not going to stop then, and they're going to get some bookie outgoings. Like, they're in the Champions League. Their spending ain't going anywhere anytime soon, man. Let's change that timestamp. So what we can do, simply put, is crack on now, isn't it, folks, guys and girls? Big up you lot tuned in. Let's crack on. I did see this tweet, and I'd love to know your thoughts. Assuming we sign Kepa, Martin Zubimendi, Rodrigo, and Benjamin Sesko, what rating would you give that out of 10? And that's the fee, for allegedly for 206 million, assuming Rodrigo's 85 million, Sesko's 65, Zubimendi's 51, and Kepa's 5 million. Where Rodrigo and Sesko are concerned, and I'm sure we'll see a couple of sound bites across the course of this part of the video, they kind of fluctuate. But if you could do all of that for 206 million, I'd say, you know what, fair enough. Assuming you get some outgoings, who knows? There might be money for another one. And to be fair, throw Sane in on top of that. It's not the best, but it's not the worst, if I'm completely honest with you. I'm going to be a bit selfish quickly, people. I did want to read this article via The Athletic, so you lot are going to have to read it with me. We're here for a long time, man. Arsenal need to build a squad. Signing a striker won't mean the end of Merino or Kai Havertz, as it shouldn't. This summer feels like the time for Arsenal to shift the emphasis of squad building. Much of Mikel Arteta's focus in recent years has been on strengthening Arsenal's foundations. That can be seen in a number of players signed in positions that require specific skill sets, whether physical or tactical. Goalkeeper and fullback are the most obvious examples, but the physical profile of midfield signings in the past 2 summers is another indicator. Attention will now turn to addressing what is missing in attack. Really? I can't believe you're using all these words to sum up what's going on with our club. But anyways, the centre forward is the main addition to be expected, but finding better support options out wide is also a necessity. Depending on where you read, some say it's a necessity, some say it's a want, not necessarily a necessity from Arsenal. I think it's a necessity to address these areas, but maybe you lot disagree. Let me know your thoughts. With midfielder Martin Zubimendi expected to join this summer, important players from recent seasons, such as Kai Havertz, Mikel Merino, exaggerating Marino's thing a bit there, and even Martinelli's could see their role shift. Merino and Havertz's minutes may take a hit next season should Arsenal sign Zubimendi and a centre forward. Merino, like Havertz, was expected to play in midfield but proved more useful at centre forward, with 6 of his 9 goals coming from that position. He'll return to midfield with Havertz back after a 3-month hamstring injury. Despite the injury, the German international scored 15 goals last season but can expect fresh competition from it for his starting spot. There should be competition, but brother, the striker, that's the number one. Kai Havertz, Merino, Trossard, Martinelli, you could all chip in. What are we talking about here? As it said there, certain man were brought in to be mid. Yes, they can play up front. We knew that with Kai, maybe not Merino. You're brought in to be midfielders. You've made your names or being held in high regards playing up front, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Let's just accept players for what they are, and these men are squad players. They can chip in, they can help us. Considering both are relatively new signings, really, who have improved with time, that might seem harsh, but it is a necessary reality as Arteta looks to develop his side. We've got to be cruel to ourselves so we can be kind come the end of the season. We ain't got time to say it's harsh. Life is harsh. It was harsh how Tierney was treated, and I'm not even getting at it. But okay, we need to do inverted fullbacks. That's not a skill set of Tierney. Ramsdale was finally, after a tough start at Arsenal, he had to get upgraded upon. This is the game, bro. This is what is required. Smith Rowe helped us get here. He had to go. We have to be harsh. Not the players that helped us get top 4 qualification might not be the guys that help us get a second year of being in Champions League. They might not be the guys that were here to mount a title challenge. The guys that were here to mount a title challenge might not be the ones to help us get over the line. The ones that help us get over the line might not be the ones for us if we had our own ways that we're doing doubles and three peats and trebles and things. You get the point, and that goes for every fan base that wants to do them kind of things. Compare the two benches when Arsenal met Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League semi-final first leg. Arteta could only call on 2 players of starting quality. Well, Arteta, you did say we've got one of the smallest squads. Maybe you could have held on to players. I do think there was a remit to get money for individuals. I do think we was naive across all aspects of anybody, whether that's Arteta, Edu at the time, Jason Ito, the Cronkies, anybody that has any sort of power where it comes to incomings and outgoings. You look fucked up last summer. Let's not beat around the bush. Forget all this he say, she say, he's to blame for everything. You're all in this together. Same way, if you flip it and we had if we had the summer that we're probably expecting this summer, expectations do lead to disappointments. But if we had the summer, this last summer that we're probably going to have this summer, I can only speak for myself. I'll give you all your flowers. So we stop yes, we've been dealt a unhealthy hand with injuries and unprecedentedness, but let's stop. It's all about the language. Let's stop acting like we stumbled across this. Arteta, those that help you with recruitment, you man are smart enough to know that this could have been a thing. We've seen other teams have massive injuries. We've seen other teams have one injury and be derailed. We've experienced all of that ourselves. The season prior to the one that's just last gone, yes, we was relatively injury-free. Timber, Partey, Tomiyasu, 3 key players at the time. 2 are still key players. They missed the majority of the campaign. We have had enough learned experiences now. Even going back to when we missed out to top 4 and Eddie Nketiah was playing up front. There's enough experiences that the gaffer and everyone knows. And even going, I know it's not the same. Arteta, you was at City. You know damn well why you need a big squad. Because there was times City fans probably forgot Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko were there. But come the end of the season, I'm sure there was a year, both of them came into the side towards the end of the year where they played Villa away and they did well. So this is long now. I don't want to hear this. Anywho, you could only call on 2 players of starting quality, 1 squad option who could leave, 5 who will depart this month, and 2 youth players who have stayed. PSG, on the other hand, could and did turn to Ramos, Bacola, Zaire Emery. They also have Kimpembe, Lee Kang-in, who we used to be linked with, no clue what happened there, and Lucas Hernandez. Our first leg bench, boy, well, yeah, starting quality, Wanyeri, Ben White. They could start, but Wanyeri's not a starter at this moment in time. Zini is a squad option. Young G's on the bench. Tini's cutting, Neto's cutting, Sterling's cutting, Jack Henry Francis and Nathan Butler-Adeji won't be getting new deals, people. And again, enough learned experiences. The 2021-22 season, when we saw none of these guys made their debuts apart from Patino, but how long did we see Mika Beref, who's gone on doing his thing? Amari, who's now a Premier League footballer. You know, the 2 Salah brothers are gone now, but them on the bench and Charlie Patino. I don't want to hear this. Let's stop acting like this is something crazy, people. What has Henri said? The most important thing is for the team to win. If that goes through me, that goes through me. If that goes through someone else, it goes through someone else. At the end of the day, we're all celebrating the treble. That was the beauty of that treble winning team of Manchester United in the Champions League final. York and Cole didn't score. On the way, they scored a lot of goals, but then Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer scored in the final. This is how you win important trophies. I agree. And what does that tell you? You need a squad. That's why I'm not saying these players need to leave, yeah. But I sometimes we have to hold ourselves to the same high standards, fans. I know we don't make decisions, but in life, if you're pointing a finger at someone, there's 3 going back at you. You know, you can't criticize players, the club, and not check your own logic. It's all fun and games. And I'm not saying these guys should stay or whatever. Sell Trossard, get rid of Kai Havertz, Zinchenko, this one, that one, whether they're injured, not lived up to expectations, big money. And some of these players need to go, but you can't say you need a squad and then say 20 players need to leave and think we're bringing in 20 players. And then there's also the other aspect, because you lot are now saying it's win now mode, which I believe it is. But then you do have to say, oh, you need to adapt and gel. It's not making sense. We need a bigger squad. This is why, for me, I'm on keeping Partey. If it's up to me, 2 centre mids rolling, but you keep Partey. Offers can change things. Kivio, you're not going nowhere unless you want to go. Trossard, you're part of the rotation. We just need to sign upgrades. The options of Marino and Kai Havertz is not pretty, but it has to be considered when we get into that condensed, congested period in the season in midfield or potentially up front. He's right. Of the backup options, Trossard has displayed those reliable qualities. He played 56 or 58 games available last season, more than any other Arsenal player, which is a lot more minutes than I'd expected from him, but he's not going to laugh. Although he only started 2/3, 37 of those, having more options like him cannot hurt. And he's right. Omri's point about supposed benches can also be seen in both past and present of successful teams. Yes, it is. Because what was the team that went and clinched the league title in my childhood at Old Trafford, was that our strongest 11? We all made, as a player, we all had time for Edu. We had time for Ray Parlour. We had time for Will Tord and these kind of brothers. They were squad players. Man United had a bag of them. Chelsea had a bag of them. Arsenal had a bag of them. You know, Liverpool again. You know, you think of Liverpool attackers in, I don't know, the mid-2000s to this point. I'm sure the legends are, I don't know how they view Firmino. I'd imagine Firmino's a legend. Salah Defo a legend. Sane's there. But you also had people like Origi. Origi might have scored something like 6, exaggerating, but 6 goals across the season. But 3 of those games, he could have nicked them 3 points. One could have been a match winner that clinched the league. You get why we need a squad. You needed a squad in the early 2000s, late 90s, let alone now, where everything, did just more games for club and country. You got silly Nations League. Most of them guys that are playing, exaggeration, but bare them guys that are playing in the Nations League are going to go off and play in the Club World Cup, probably have a week off, and then it's pre-season. You got a World Cup lot next year. We're not too far removed from recently a World Cup and a Euros. There's a bag of pointless friendlies. You know, couple clubs, as soon as the season finished, jetted off for a kind of end of season, pre-season sort of thing. This is, rightly or wrongly, there's a bigger conversation to be said in football about player welfare. It's not changing. The Champions League is expanded. It's not changing. The people that control the game that I and you love, they don't give a monkeys about the players. It's all about the bread. So how can we put our best foot forward? Now, I can only speak for myself. Had we have left last summer with the depth, with the quality additions to the starting 11, and the season panned out the same way, where it comes to depth, and I'm speaking about the injuries, where it comes to depth, if that happened, me personally, I'd say, you know what, fair enough. Let's go back to the drawing board. Maybe there's something around rotation, around physiotherapy, around recovery of players. Because it's fucked to say, but we was owed this. It does not surprise me that Gabriel Magalhaes, even William Saliba, Magalhaes, Saliba, Timber post ACL, Bukayo Saka hamstring, Kai Havertz the same, even Declan Rice, they were owed that. They've played a lot of minutes. Mikel Arteta just said the other day that we kind of expected that. We knew we came into the squad, came into this season short. So Mikel Arteta, better now, but Mikel Arteta, better. Ato serving in your garden leave. Anybody that has any sort of say with squad planning and all of these things, the decision makers that evidently do that, you lot sort it out, because the excuses are run out now. How many times you can see the same thing, the same things, hoping for something different? It's not making sense. And the bottom line, a deeper thing for me is the last 3 years now, I've seen different tactics, different formations, been happy, been sad, you know, all of those kind of things, seen a relatively injury-free run, injuries here, relative injury-free run, and the Saliba's injury kind of effed us up. 3 different years, different sub-talking points. The overriding factor is we haven't got over the line. That's my thinking now. How do you get over the line? Because we have done the treble. It's just second place finishes. Can't put that. Well, to be fair, let's see. We might as well put that in our trophy cabinet along with the Real Madrid and City victories in it. But he's right, though, man. You look at the past and present success of Arsenal teams. Omri obviously scored 24 league goals to win his first Premier League title in 01-02. He did not score the goal that secured the silverware. He was at home watching with a bruised knee. As I was alluding to, Silva and Wiltord against Manchester United. Of course, Arsenal, we played with 2 strikers. We did have Bergkamp, and I don't need to further read this part out. You can see why depth. You lot are smart enough. That's why you're here. Smash the like button and subscribe. This is why you need depth, people, because we're going to run into steam. And for me, I'm past the stage now of looking at players positively or negatively. I'm on accepting players for what they are. Of course, if you're in bad form or if you've had potential and it's not been realized, let's try and get that out. But what I specifically mean by that is, Trossard, you're a rotation option. You're a squad player. Of course, if your form is out of this world, you're going to start. Put him in that role. Martinelli, you haven't kicked on. Squad player. Saka, you're doing your thing. You are that. Lewis Skelly, you started on the peripherals, you've been going up the levels, you're a starter. Bring in another left back and accept people. Kai Havertz, you will score goals, you can help us. But if we're now living and breathing by you scoring goals, being silly, even going back to history repeating itself, Liverpool in the FA Cup the season before the one that's just gone, and Man United, two different games, yeah. But what is the one commonality beyond the obvious that we went out of the competitions at home? Bunch of chances, didn't put the ball in the back of the net. It's not just down to the striker, because what if you get your Sesko, your Gyökeres, and they've scored, 20, there's 20 games, they've scored in all 20, the 21st game, they're not quite at it. Other man need to chip in. But that's what we need to do. I do think fans like to hide behind the fact that we got 100 goals and goals from set pieces and we're sharing the goals out. These things are true. Keep doing that, making that better. But there's also the second part of that argument where in your heart, you lot know Bukayo Saka is the only one genuinely in August to May that you would bet your life, your family's life, your life savings, that if you had to make an educated guess, is going to bag these goals. And I don't think it's fair to the players. I don't, because they ran themselves into the ground. I think everybody's done it. I keep saying this, I'll die on this hill. Obviously, they're the ones played. I actually feel sorry for the players. Marino, you've just signed for Arsenal, had a tough time, injured in your first game, a lot of fluctuating opinions. You're playing up front in the semi-finals against Real Madrid. Obviously, it was a romantic ending, but this ain't making sense. Kai Havertz, goal scoring has never been a strong point of yours. We're living or dying by you doing that. I've made the point about players that are, there's been no rest, they're injured and all of these kind of things. Players have stepped up like Kivior, who didn't necessarily rate. Young Miles Lewis Skelly, life's come at you fast. The players have got to a point. They need new blood. This squad needs new injection. Now, we're not going to get to where we need to get to. That's just my thoughts, man. But I'm just an armchair expert like you lot, mate. So, yeah, don't really have a clue in that regards. Respect. Big up Hendon Gooner, wherever he is, man. Boy. Thomas Frank is our new man. Boy, big up Thomas Frank, man. Now, it's unfortunate I'm going to have to hate you, man. I still don't know what win now means, bro. Get over the line, bro, because we always talk about fine margins and all these things, but we never get it. Now, I don't think I want to be wrong, but from what I believe, I think City are winning the league next year. I hope I'm wrong. I think Liverpool comes second. Do of that what you will. Just put my FA Cup in the bag, because we do a lot of explaining about fine margins and all of this, but we're never on the right side of it. And again, there's been 3 years where generally we've either been bloody good, bloody spoken about in some serious conversations, some people want to waffle about how good the gaffer is. And your only question mark for me, Arteta, is getting over the line. But if you've got a good manager, if you've got stability, if you're ready to waffle about how good certain individual players are and our systems and our pressing and our low blocks and how it's building and building, at some point you need to get over the line. Big up for taking us from back-to-back 8th. You can never forget the past, but the past is irrelevant. Yes, future-proof and all of this, but the future, we don't know what's happening. Too many times in the last 3 years, I've never felt like we've seized the present, like we've truly seized it. The only time I felt we genuinely seized it was probably Real Madrid, if I'm honest, or actually the Champions League run up until it's over. Like I can't really have any negative energy for obviously the same things led to our demise, but I can't really be vexed about the Champions League beyond the obvious. It did kind of feel like maybe the footballing gods would have allowed us, but yeah. Why we need depth. Sorry, folks, man. You see, I'm trying to make sure you lot got the timestamps, man. So when you lot want to watch it on the replay and all that jazz, there you have it, man. So yeah, man. And then on that, let's begin. Obviously, looking at the transfer news. Keep your thoughts coming, people. Don't forget to follow on Twitch 5:15. We're gonna very quickly watch some highlights and all of that, man. So yeah, man, cracking on. Yeah, Arteta, he took over when he was 8th. He got 8th. Big up you for for me, when it comes to the gaffer, bro, I don't need to lie, bro. Like, I'm not saying people need to back the guy. I'm not saying people need to criticize the guy. I think the manager's on brand with what we've been, which is a mixed bag. It's like 10 good things, there's 10 bad things. I think there's genuine logic behind some people saying persist with him. I actually think there's a lot of people who want the guy gone. There's some things you cannot defend. And I don't want Arteta to develop and learn his craft if we're not going to benefit from the fruits of the labor. You lot keep hearing me say, I think the case now is getting over the line. That's the be-all and end-all. Every manager's got little isms and schisms. No man or woman in this world is without faults. But the bottom line is get over the line. You're coming out there and telling us we want to win. And everything. You can't be blamed for everything, but ultimately the nature of the business, it falls with the manager. You've been backed, you've been given a lot of time. I do think as a club, it's now self-inflicted issues. You need to get over the line, bro. You've got us in these conversations. You're clearly a good manager. If you're being mocked about not winning trophies and and mocked about being second, that tells you there's something there. Are you the guy to get us over the line? And I just feel with Arteta, or Arsenal, or just football talk in general, there's never really any balanced conversations. There are those that back Arteta that can consider, yo, you're quite fortunate Wenger was killed for less than that. There's guys that are tired of Arteta that can sit here and go, you know what, big up you for certain things. We need to move in the right direction. Likewise, I think there's some that just make every excuse under the sun and tell themselves scenarios about he didn't get his players and da 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 da. It's not really making sense, but that's a side note, man. Looking at this though, man. I mean, Zubimendi, if you want to sign for us, great. If not, F off, man. Anything can change, but surely at this moment in time, he knows, and maybe Real Madrid and Arsenal know what you're doing, whether that's coming to Arsenal, whether that's being open to Real Madrid intercepting. Now, Arsenal, can you be prepared to pay Sociedad a bit more than his release clause over a lot of time? Because that's one reason we could beat Real Madrid. Because I think we're probably more likely to live or die by this. For Real Madrid, it's Zubimendi, all right, cool, we'll go get someone else. It feels like for Arsenal, we do that thing where we're linked with a player, they become in love with us. You told us it was done as well as January. There's serious egg on a lot of faces, but yeah, it's being reported. Apparently, Arsenal are still waiting on Zubimendi's final decision. Real Madrid have reached out to the players' camp to ask whether he has made a firm decision, and the answer is no. Move on, bro. Like, if you really tied this up since January and Jason Ito was doing this and Bert is doing that, and it still can go left, at some point, you need to find a contingency plan, right? Real Madrid contacted Zubimendi and he confirmed that nothing has been agreed with Arsenal. Everything is open. The player will have the final say. It was probably going to be the case once, the Nations League ended. We've got to remember, you go back as far as December 2024. He said, Liverpool's bid caught me by surprise. I was on vacation. It was an uncomfortable time for me, but I weighed up the pros and cons, then concluded that the best option was to stay at Real Sociedad. What if how do I make it make sense? What if he's decided that it's best to stay at Sociedad or stay in Spain or go to Real Madrid or go to, I don't know, but he's 26. It's a very, very important time, man. Now, apparently Real Madrid are pushing hard to hijack Arsenal's deal to sign Martin Zubimendi, but Arsenal remain confident he will join them. Football London understands Zubimendi has already verbally agreed a move to Arsenal with only a medical left to complete. Verbal agreement. Now, we asked everybody in this world, man or women, to be men and women of their words. Words is all you've got. And if anyone that doesn't ring true, there's issues. But in the world of business, which I hate to refer to football as, is essentially business, how far does verbal go? How far does it go? If I's and T's haven't officially been dotted, I'm not sure it goes anywhere, man. But yeah, there's that. Some of you are saying go on to this ITK. To be fair, I'm rocking with this ITK, to be fair. What has he said? Martin Zubimendi will be joining Arsenal Football Club pending a medical. Stop reacting to everything and anything. That was on the 3rd of June. A follow-up has said legal documentation has been exchanged and agreements are in place for the transfer of Martin Zubimendi to Arsenal pending a medical. So it depends, what you want to concern yourself with. Arsenal concerned over Zubimendi deal amid Real Madrid interest after 51 million Spain star receives call that changed everything. At this point, I don't want to say repeat the same things, but we know about his release clause. Apparently, recent reports claimed he would undergo a medical with all payment structures claimed to have been agreed. Marca are coming out and saying that the Spanish giants, Real Madrid, contacted Zubimendi's entourage to determine whether he had finalized the deal with Arsenal, which camp are claimed to have denied. It is claimed Real Madrid's cause changed everything, with Zubimendi now aware of the possibility of joining the club, which he will reunite with Xabi Alonso. People, Real Madrid are now said to be considering an approach to Sociedad and the desire to sign Arsenal's summer target. Again, I've gone over this with Zubimendi. He's played coy in the build up to the Nations League games. He said, he's fond of Xabi Alonso and all of that. The Sociedad president did say that he would like Zubimendi to stay at the club. So everything is up for debate, people, depending on where you want to go. Martin Zubimendi to Arsenal was almost done, but a call from Real Madrid has now changed everything. Now, what adds fuel to the fire and maybe the legs to this is Florentino Perez was at the game. Maybe that could have been, he's a high-ranking person. He wants to watch the Real Madrid players that are involved for Spain, and he just wants to be there. But crucially, they say they're linked with a mystery player, which isn't Nico Williams, which might be my man in it. I don't know, people. Again, remember the 14th of January this year, Romano said Mikel Arteta, a crucial factor for Arsenal to advance on Zubimendi deal. Arsenal manager part of the process for the club to get the green light from Zubimendi, same as happened with Declan Rice 2 years ago. Zubimendi in advanced talks with Arsenal for July 2025. Now, the last thing, July 2025, which is just under a month. So who knows? But this is what makes the market exciting. Romano also said he's practically closed his transfer to Arsenal. So we hope it's just worse. Victor Gyökeres has rejected an offer worth 30 mil a year after holding talks with Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea. A number of top clubs have expressed interest in signing Gyökeres, who scored an impressive 54 goals for Sporting last season. Premier League giants Manchester United, Chelsea, and Arsenal all held talks with Gyökeres' reps as they look to win the race to sign one of the most highly rated strikers in Europe. Gyökeres has also attracted interest from further afield, and Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal recently made, I think they mean made, but it said make a stunning contract proposal to the 27-year-old. Fair enough, man. And it seems like Osimhen has rejected 4 or 5 contract offers. Can we go in for Osimhen? Which it says Arsenal, Chelsea, and United have all been linked with him prior. Let's go get Osimhen then, innit, mate? And again, Gyökeres is linked with everyone. Like, he's probably linked with Arsenal and United the more aggressively. Every now and again, he gets thrown in, like, Liverpool's name, Chelsea's name, Napoli's, PSG's. The craziest, Juventus have been linked with him. Every now and again, you do see the Saudi links. I don't know what's going on, but apparently Juventus, Arsenal, and Man United are all interested in Gyökeres, bro. I can't lie. If Osimhen's wage demands ain't that mad, we might as well spin the block one more time, man, if I'm honest. But who knows? United apparently held further discussions. I don't think Arsenal fans have much hope for Gyökeres anymore. As Benjamin Sesko talks advance, Arsenal will now bid to sign 44.7 million player who loves Mikel Arteta as well. Who? Arsenal present Leroy Sané with an offer. Respected journalist Yagnis. Bloody hell, mate. Apologies in advance. I'll always give it a go. Pronunciation, please. Look away now. Don't lock me up. But Yagnis Sobonchagulu, I tried, forgive me, has told Transfer Mark that Arsenal are expected to offer the German international a contract as he prepares to leave Bayern Munich on a free transfer. What are you lot saying for Sané? I mean, if you bring me all the others and Sané's a buffer, like he's an added attacking addition, great. If Sané is seen as the level raiser, boy, it is what it is. Sané is being chased by Fenerbahce and Galatasaray as well, who apparently have made both offers. And apparently Bayern Munich are trying until the last to get him to sign a new deal. I mean, 29, he's experienced. I wouldn't cry, but it does stink around hunting for a bargain. Harry Redknapp rock up with better bargains than that. Arsenal and Leipzig have already scheduled their next round of talks regarding Benjamin Sesko, with a positive feeling around a possible deal. Leipzig values Sesko between 80 to 100 million euros. Again, Sky Germany, who are milking this Sesko thing. They're doing the Romano thing every second, saying the same thing. So if I go to see it, you lot got to see it. Leipzig's plan is clear. Smash the like button, which is the plan of us, DG Nation. They want to generate more than 80 million euros from the transfer of Benjamin Sesko. The total transfer package is expected to exceed that amount. Arsenal remain the most concretely interested party. No breakthrough between the clubs yet. Leipzig remain calm and know the players' value, people. One of the stories this week will be Sesko. Arsenal have had very positive talks with the camp and Leipzig. Contacts will resume early this week. I mean, is that Monday or tomorrow and Tuesday? No agreement on personal terms or fee yet. Player is keen to join Arsenal. That was from Fabrizio Romano. We have seen rumblings over the weekend that Chelsea could be set to rival Arsenal for the signature of Sesko this summer, with the Gunners yet to make their minds up on the forward. Okay, I think we have. Sky Germany's Florian Plattenberger said, I'm totally convinced Sesko will play for Arsenal. Do of that what you will. Lazio signed Nuno Tavares. Tavares is still linked with Saudi Arabia and Leeds, so maybe we get a quick, on top of the money we get a quick couple more, because we probably got a sell-on clause. We've gone over the Sané stuff already. I'm not going to bore you like that with that. We need a third choice keeper. Why not sign a proven winner in Scott Carson? Now, I have to question Scott Carson's mentality. You know, he's won everything there is to offer at Manchester City. The minute they have a trophyless season, he leaves. Maybe he's got high standards. Scott Carson has left Manchester City upon the expiry of his contract after 6 years with the club. Might as well get him to be third choice, man. I have covered this before, but we have been linked with Kenlen Yildiz of Juventus. They're planning to offer him a new deal, which again, how many times that he's a jewel in Turkish football. He's probably unfortunate that Arda Güler is from the same country and gets a lot of the plaudits. We've watched him when he was at Bayern Munich. We've been linked with him, a man who's 20 years of age. Premier League clubs are looking for attackers. Juventus want to give him a new deal. Coincidentally, Arsenal are interested, or Arsenal's interest might be a bit exaggerated in several other clubs. But for what it's worth, we've been linked with the 20-year-old who is attracting interest from a number of sides across Europe. Arsenal are among them, says Total Sport. Apparently, it will take 50.5 million to sign him. We're also linked with Nico Williams, as you guys already know, people. And yeah, the same names at this point are going to be thrown around. Chelsea have already signed Liam Delap, but they're apparently monitoring Sesko as we've gone over, and apparently they're ready to strike when the time's right. Gyökeres's name is still being floated in Arsenal circles. Again, surely Osimhen. I'm starting to believe Osimhen's going to remain in Italy, because if you don't go Saudi, I reckon you rock up at Juventus or one of them teams. You can't discount the Premier League, innit? It just screams of Man United. I don't know, man. DG, you're funny for that one. Appreciate you, my guy. But yeah, I'm having Gyökeres, 26 years of age. If it can be done, I'm having Gyökeres, but I'm having Osimhen, but can't see it. There has been rumors that Arsenal are showing signs they could sell Martinelli this summer. I don't believe that we're going to sell the 23-year-old. We are in the market of a left winger. You just need to become a squad player. Arteta remains a fan of his people, but apparently what could shift it is that Rodrigo is going to be an expensive signing, and selling Martinelli could help in part fund it. But how much money are you going to make? Because you'd be lucky to get 30-40 million for Martinelli, which is a significant profit on the 6 million. But then you're going to need a squad. It's all fun and games saying, you get your upgrading Gyökeres and Sesko and this one and your Nico Williams and your Leaos and all of these ones. When their man there get injured or they need to be rested, and you've got 2 games a week, 3 games in 10 days, because it's all fun and games in August, for all clubs in Europe. Unless you're United, who are playing once a week. Mind games. But it's all fun and games in the early stage of the season. Bare fun and games. It's 1 game a week. Then it gets to 2 games. Then it's 3 games. Then when you're in October, where there's a lot of minutes, there's been injuries, there's been minutes. You probably, by the time we hit October, forgive me if I'm wrong, or definitely December, there would have been 2 international breaks. So that's more football. The League Cup, depending on what you do, that's now thrown into it. Champions League is there. You're now going from that weird September to December period. And it's the same things are continuing. You now get into the new year. So the January period, FA Cup comes into it, depending on what's going on in the league and the other competitions. You're still there, brother. We need the squad. So keep Martinelli for that. Obviously, every player's got a price. If you have to sacrifice Martinelli to get Rodrigo, I ain't going to say it, but yeah, man. And apparently Rodrigo could command a fee of 100 million. You see everything from as low as 65 million pounds to 100 million. And he'll have a net salary of 10 million euros. Leao has apparently made clear he wants to leave AC Milan. You saw him come off the bench and do quite well for Portugal yesterday as they won the Nations League. I'm having him. He's linked with us. We have previously heard that Berters spoke with him, and Bayern Munich are still linked. Everyone and their dog is linked with him. And you've actually seen the asking price go from 80 million quid to 60. I don't know if any of this is true. I'm sure you lot don't as well, which is why I always say the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. If nothing more, it provides us with talking points. Which on that, smash the like button, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, people. We have been linked with Mohamed Kudus. Any takers? Yeah, I live him. We should have got you when you was at Ajax. You can play as a false 9, bit different, but you could play in Odegaard's role in some capacity. I have seen you play off the left for West Ham. You could deputise for Saka off the right. By default, our squad is stronger. Allegedly, we've held talks with West Ham over a potential summer transfer. I reckon he wants to leave West Ham, and I think West Ham, away from Kudus, I think West Ham have never been more open to getting rid of Kudus for whatever reason than they have. Like previous years, it's unheard of that, I'm sure Karen Brady or whoever works there would sell their mum or their family members before, they probably even sell Danny Dyer. Bowen would sell his wife before he sells Kudus. But I feel like they want to let him go. He's been linked with Saudi. We've heard rumors about Chelsea swap deal. Every now and again, he's linked with Liverpool, and Arsenal links haven't gone away. But apparently we've held talks. Discussions between the Gunners and the Hammers recently took place. Arsenal have expressed an interest. He has an 100 million release clause in his West Ham contract, but Arsenal made it clear during talks they had no intention of matching this inflated fee. And you'd imagine anyone that's going to sign Kudus, like, you're not playing like that. Sources with knowledge of Arsenal's interest in the attacker have informed us they value Kudus at around 55 to 60 million. The 24-year-old is one of several wide players under consideration by the Gunners. Kudus, for his part, is looking to leave West Ham as he's keen to play European football next season. Should he try to force through a move, the Hammers will likely have to accept a fee below his release clause. Newcastle, Chelsea, as well as Arsenal will be a name drop there, and there's probably a bunch of other clubs. I've read this before, so I won't read it again, but this has basically said that Arsenal have changed their stance on Gabriel Jesus, and there's talk around a potential extension. His contract runs out in 2027, people. Again, Garnacho, apparently London club's interest confirmed as Man United stars spotted in Italy. Alejandro Garnacho's, I can't lie, your first name is wavy. Alejandro Garnacho's departure from Man United still seems likely, and it's now been confirmed that Premier League rivals Arsenal and Chelsea have both submitted transfer inquiries to sign the winger. Inquiries, I guess, I mean, you can get vexed about inquiring. I'm not happy, but that's not necessarily buying. I buy the Chelsea links because they tried before. I don't know if Arsenal floated the idea. It wouldn't be against us, people. He's set to leave after falling out with Amorim, as we know, people. Apparently, 3 Premier League clubs are said to have taken an interest. So if we just assume, for argument's sake, Arsenal, Chelsea, who's the third? Napoli also looked at him as a potential replacement for Kvaratskhelia, who, as you know, joined PSG. Atletico Madrid are among options as well for him, people. Pardon me, reports from Argentina have confirmed the identity of 2 of the teams chasing Garnacho with Chelsea and Arsenal. Now, maybe both teams are not interested, and there's a legit team or a legit party that is speaking with Garnacho's reps and with Man United. Are they playing the interests of everyone? We have a third choice, Setford or Hine. Hine needs to leave. Setford needs to go on loan, in my opinion, but he could be it. Right, you're really vexed about Scott Carson being a third choice. Come on, mate. Anyways, 2 of the 3 clubs that inquired about Garnacho are Chelsea and Arsenal. Garnacho has a preference to stay in the Premier League. Fair enough. I don't know if I buy any of this, but there you have it. David Ornstein has revealed that Arsenal are targeting as many as 5 important signings this summer. So why does it say 6 summer signings planned? Apparently, Ornstein has said Arsenal are planning to sign a number 9, a left winger, ideally a right winger, so 2 wingers, a central midfielder if Partey leaves, a centre-back and a backup goalie. Let's see exactly what the guy said. Arsenal are focusing on a new number 9, whether it's going to be Benjamin Sesko or Victor Gyökeres. They also want to add top-quality wide player, ideally on the left. We have seen names like Rodrigo, Anthony Gordon and Nico Williams before. They would also like some backup for Bukayo Saka on the right. That's why they targeted Mbuemo. In midfield, they need to renew Partey or let him go. And if he goes, they will need to replace him. They would like a centre-half. They were in for Howson, but didn't manage to get him. So watch this space on that position. And they need a number 2 goalkeeper as Neto returns to Bournemouth. So watch the space on that. There's no more space to watch. You was watching it for us, and you've told us Kepa's going to be an Arsenal player. We've all seen those links. Is there anything else that's emerged? No. So that's that. Moving on, again, as I said, Rafael Leao, according to Sky Germany, has informed AC Milan he wants to leave the club, who won at least 60 million for the 25-year-old. Anyone having Sadio Mane? Apparently, El Nassr have told Mane that he can leave the club this summer as they look to bring a top-class replacement to Saudi. Firmino's been linked with a move back to Europe as well. Make of that what you will. We have been linked with Kepa, as we know. That deal seems to be all, I wouldn't say all but done, but it's making movements. There could be a change where Partey is concerned. Arsenal made Partey what they considered to be a competitive contract offer around 10 days ago. But at this moment in time, there's still no agreement between the parties and the situation remains open. Partey wants to stay at Arsenal. However, he is said to be cautious that his next contract, bearing in mind, from 2020 to now, that is his contract. Maybe if it wasn't because of injuries, he could have signed improved terms a lot sooner. Could potentially represent his last big deal, and his inner circle want to see his importance to the team reflected within those terms proposed. Bukayo Saka and Saliba have both held positive dialogue with Arsenal over fresh terms and want to stay at the club. Arsenal are relaxed about the process, and while there's an understanding negotiations can take time, they maintain confidence agreements will be struck. Wanyeri and Miles Lewis-Skelly are also in line for new deals, which would also include lucrative pay rises. Their current contracts are due to expire in the summer of 2026, but there's optimism. Agreements for both players are now in sight, people. We've gone over the Real Madrid stuff already, people, which we don't need to keep going over. That's just Bukayo Saka speaking. which is there's nothing there of any relevance. Obviously, bigged up the fact that Arsenal are represented heavy as well in the England squad. Garnacho to Arsenal. Let me know your thoughts, people. Anyone having Paulinho? Apparently, Man United have been linked with him. He could be available for 25 million. Now, he's been a thorn in Arsenal's side. You know, I'd take you for the squad. I don't think you play on a consistent basis. Don't think you're the best on the ball. Not terrible, but I wouldn't be against it. Again, we have heard Rodrigo is our top summer target, and the Zubimendi links won't go away. The fact the Brazilian can play across all the front three is something that is understood to have attracted Arsenal. The Gunners do have other targets in that position. Left wing and strikers are priority positions, and the club have a number of targets in each as they weigh up the best way of spending their budget. Okay, so show us. Kepa, Arsenal are progressing with a deal to sign the goalkeeper from Chelsea, who has a 5 million release clause, as we've been over. Bit jealous of City because it looks like they're getting my boy Ryan Cherky, and I'm going to have to slander him. We was actually once upon a time linked with Marcus Betteni. Manchester City are apparently looking at him, maybe potentially to replace Scott Carson. I wonder if that's something we explore again. Arsenal frustrated as Bukayo Saka fires early warning to Liverpool and City. Okay, it's been a bit of a frustrating year with injuries. We all know there's a lot of speculation around us and who we're signing this summer. But once that's all done, at the end of the summer, the relationships we'll need to work on, we'll all work on at the training ground, at the Emirates, and wherever we're playing, we'll be stronger, I have no doubt. Each year I've developed and improved. I've still got a bit of a way to go. I need to keep working hard. And with all the games I'm playing, all the experiences with the tournaments, it's only going to make me better from learning from it. Fair enough. He then said, I can only say positives about Miles. He's a top talent with a good mentality, lots of confidence. That's why he can come here to the England camp and play the way he does. Big credit to him. I hope he keeps continuing to progress and improve. It's thrilling to anticipate what the future holds. And big up Wanyeri, man. He was wished all the best. Wanyeri, man, he was on the cusp of getting called up. Arteta, give the guy football, man. We could be in the England squad. We've gone over the Sane stuff, but apparently we've sent him a written offer, folks. And apparently it currently looks like Sane will not make a decision about his future before the departure for the Club World Cup tomorrow. In this case, Bayern are planning for Sane to fly to Orlando as he's officially under contract until June 30th. Once there, the winger would then have more time during the group stage to further consider his future. Max Earl would like to give Sane a mini contract until the end of the tournament. Company would then have Sane at his disposal for the entire CWC Club World Cup. The player would have even more time to decide whether he wants to stay at Bayern, people. So yeah, is there anything? Where else is Arsenal? Is anything else come out? Come on, man, tell us Zubimendi's confirmed. What's this? Well, we'll have a look. We'll have a look. We will. What's that? So I assume Zinchenko's been offered to AC Milan or something. What's going on here? Some intermediaries have offered the Rossoneri AC Milan Zinchenko, whose contract with Arsenal expires in June 2026. He made just 23 appearances for the Gunners last season across all comps and is not the first choice for Mikel Arteta. So, yeah, I mean, that's something new. He's been linked with them, people. So, yeah, that draws a close to that, people. Let's make a time stamp. Transfer news. And now, can get back into entertaining you lot quickly, people. Let me scroll the way up because I'm just wary that if I start replying to you lot, some of you just want to be here to see the news and the nonsense. So we try and deal with that. A lot of Arsenal fans have this strange ability to blame everything and everyone for Arsenal not winning titles. How are we going to win when we shop in our competition's trash rubbish every season? Some of our supporters were criticizing Arteta for not giving Butler or Deji a chance. I don't want Garnacho as well. I don't think we're getting Garnacho. Stranger things. Who cares about Arsenal? Clearly you, if you're here commenting and you seem to be a Spurs fan, you're here all the time. I normally ignore you, but I know that's what it's designed to, trolling and getting some flames. So look, you can say, look, Mum, I made it. Your mum want me to sign her breast? See, we can all be silly and say idiot things. Jokeres to United. But big up DG. They can stay on the bench as well for depth. Did you see the new FIFA game promo? Demo game is Arsenal versus Liverpool 5-0, and they all put the transfer names in Arsenal squad. Jokeres and Rodrigo. Be nice, man. Why would Arteta want a United castaway? Good deal for 4 players. Fit Rodrigo and Saka on the flanks with Sesko through the middle as an FM dream. If you know, you know. I big up Riley, man, because he's always here. We've been doing up FM. Played it yesterday. Yeah, we did. Let's get the likes to 200 people. I would give an 8 for that window. 7 out of 10 mainly for Rodrigo. I hear it. It would be an 8 out of 10. Roll to 70k. That'd be a perfect window. I don't know about perfect, but maybe I'm being greedy because if the club, and it's a big if you did get Rodrigo, what could I say? Like, big up the Portuguese, man. Shout out Portugal. Ronaldo deserves it. And I'm not a fan of the social media stuff. Like, why is Ronaldo crying? Bro, the man's 40 years of age, career's winding down, won something with his country and his teammates. And you want man to not be emotional. Fair enough, man. Zubimendi, Sesko, Kepa, and Sane a good window. For me, it's missing a midfielder, top defender, and a top left winger. Wouldn't say it's a bad one. Don't want to seem spoiled. I wouldn't say I'm moved. I'd be gassed. But I don't know. It's one where it'd have to play out. Yeah, man. See, people want to be silly. Like, I'm on foolishness, you know. Like, if people want to say foolishness, we can all be silly. We can all be silly, man. I big up Mister because you're always here. You're very critical when I get some of my guests on, man. I always think loud, man. I think Rodrigo will move the needle. Yeah, but then like I don't want to get into that trap of just because obviously Rodrigo, all our hope's gonna be on you. You get it, but like Liverpool didn't win the Prem or Champs just because of Salah. He might have scored the goals and made the difference, but when he's having an off day or getting through the tournaments, there's other guys, and I think we need everybody to pull their weight, man. There was a time we got no call-ups for England. Trust Leao overrated. You let Ben White get up to fitness. Hopefully, Ranieri's standout campaign. Lewis Skelly, Rice, Saka keep doing what they're doing, and we're good. And to be fair, it could be peak for former Arsenal man Aaron Ramsdale. It seems like Tuchel's not really convinced. We're screwed, mate. Jesus going to get an extension. Drossard going to get more money, but no extension. Even that don't make no sense for me, you know. That don't make. I big up Savo, man. He's talking about when I went on the Sun, some rigged argument. Rigged argument. It's cool though, man. Shout out Savo, man. He's one of them lot, but he's all right. Balembo would be cold, but Balembo's them kind of man you need in this day and age. You need to get them when they're in France. Because once they end up at Brighton, you know how much they cost. And I know we bought Declan Rice, but we're not going to be shelling out them kind of fees too often. Leao has the ability, but can't do it every week for me. That's the problem. I agree Leao's overrated, but yesterday's performance really enticed me. Overrated don't mean a bad, it don't mean a bad thing. I just think if Leao could, like somebody said, if Leao could do it on a consistent basis, it's calm. Kudus overrated. I thought Kudus did better than he actually did. I hear it. You are telling me we went from eyeing up Rodrigo and Gyökeres to that Slovenian, Havertz and Garnacho. I must admit, yeah, I'm not saying Sesko is going to be perfect and all of this. I want Gyökeres. I'm a big fan of Sesko. There's nowhere for me to hide. My videos from 2 years ago sums that up. If we don't get Gyökeres and we get Sesko, expectations adjusted, but I'm not going to cry. But I have to say this. I don't think, and I'm not saying you can't just watch highlights and get a general sense of the player, yeah, and I'm not even blaming Kai Havertz. If you genuinely think Sesko and Kai Havertz are the same player, you definitely are not watching. It's not making sense. But he wouldn't be the first player or the last to be written off. I knew Jesus would get an extension. Madrid attention shifted to Zubimendi. Tony is pretty average. I take him. Buemo, though, I can't lie, he could bag, 13 non-pen goals. There was a point like 2 years ago, I probably would have taken him, but football, you change your mind. Should have been signed for 40 million when Ajax was selling him for that much. Now we have to pay over the odds. If you can get a decent kind of offer from West Ham, why not? They're not going to let him go for 50 odd. It'd be nice if they wanted a Zinchenko, a Reece Nelson, a Fabio Vieira, but that's all FIFA business. Would have loved Kudus before. He would have banged for us. Feel it's too late. Now it's expensive. Kudus is a very exciting player. I'd take him. After Zubimendi, we should sign Gyökeres and Eze. Oh, I'd love Eze, mate. Love Eze, mate. Rodrigo moves for 90 million. If he does move, we aren't in the market. For me, there has to be two things that happens before I take the Rodrigo thing seriously. And that's, Arsenal can throw their hat into the ring. There'll be everybody else. Rodrigo has to make, which I don't think he does. And it's one where it'll be with a heavy heart. I don't think he's going to make it abundantly clear to Real Madrid, yo, I'm cutting regardless. I'm cutting. I think he's in two minds. Like, I think I might want to leave, but I want to stay at Real Madrid. I just need a bit of a confidence boost. So if I put myself in Xabi Alonso's shoes, I'm going to tell Rodrigo everything over the sun. Brother, you're going to play, bro. Trust me. Things are going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. Trust me. He gets a bit of encouragement. Case closed. Maybe we will visit next summer. Really. Case closed. Or Real Madrid say, regardless of what your conversation in Rodrigo's case with Xabi Alonso and yourself, we want the money to do whatever we want to do. You're gone. Until I see one of those two things, which I can't imagine happening anyways, much less before the Club World Cup, and Xabi Alonso's just started, and, we need to get the bread and butter signings. You need to confirm Kepa if that's what you want to do. You need to confirm Partey. You need to confirm Zubimendi. You need to get your Sesko, your Gyökeres. When all of these things are done or significant business is done, beyond just the fact that I want a wavy Brazilian player, I can't really take too much stock in it. Lucky to get 30, 40 now. Come on, Martinelli is worth more than that. North of 50 is more realistic. He isn't worth the same as Eddie or Smith Rowe. Is he worth 50 mil? Probably, but it's what you can hustle. Have we been good sellers? Maybe Burr can change that. But I ain't sold no one yet beyond Marquinhos, which you know what, maybe he could. Aren't we getting money for Nelson and Fabio? They're gonna have to sell them first, isn't it? It's all shits and giggles until someone giggles and shit. Wow, what is going on over there, my guy? But even that saying selling Martinelli to Saudi is all good and fine. Would you want to go to Saudi if you're Martinelli at this moment in time? Maybe for the bread, but you're still young. You're trying to get into the World Cup. Are you necessarily going to get that? Are you? And I know there's exceptions, but are you going to get that call up? Why are we being attacked? Why are we being attacked? What did Arsenal do? What did VS fans do to get this type of stuff? I'm not sure what you're saying, bro. Just try and tell me this Garnacho news, ain't it? I don't buy the Garnacho stuff, bro. Like, I don't. But I've seen weirder things happen. Oh, shout out Rums, my guy. Funny Man United fans, they wished it was true of the hijack. Wait, if they hijack Zubimendi, cool, run your bands. But you see Arsenal, all right, you wanted Zubimendi, you put all the work into Zubimendi, great. Didn't work. Go and sign the next midfielder. It's gone past that. We tried, and there's no players on the market. Make sure you have another one because you had to. What if Zubimendi said from the jump, because we've been here for time, we've been talking to him as far as January. What if he said, no, I want to stay in Spain, I want to go Real Madrid? You're going to have to find someone to play midfield. So go and do that, man. Zubimendi legit denied doing a medical at Arsenal is twerking for Xavi. See these United fans trolling, mate. You should know you're not going to get much change out of me, man. He said he's not sure where he'd be. Of course, they're going to play that game, man. They're going to play that game. It's not verbal. It's not verbally, though, is it? It's on paper. It's, I can't say that word. The article I read, it said it's a verbal agreement. I hope it's legally blinding. And if it's just verbal in business, that doesn't go anywhere, bro. Like, it doesn't. Man, love line. I don't think Sesko scores more than 15 goals if he joins for next season. Gyökeres scores 20 at least. I think Sesko's going to do his thing. I'm not going to lie to you lot. Recruitment is a big issue. Scouting. I wouldn't even say scouting because there's another side. Like you see it with United. United have been linked with half of these young players that you've seen doing well. Going back to Ralph Rangnick, they wanted John Duran, they wanted Sesko. Even if these guys didn't develop, they could have sold them for a profit. The scouts are doing their jobs. But if I'm a scout, I can go to the four corners of this world, find the best players since sliced bread, write up all my reports, scout heavily, pitch it and whatnot. But if I give it to you, who's the head of, I'm just a scout. I might be let's just say I'm a world-renowned scout. I'm known for finding the next Kantes and all of this. I've done my due diligence. I've presented. I've given it to you. Whether you're the manager, whether you're the head of recruitment, whether you're a sporting director. If I've given that to you and you don't take me up on that, you don't begin dialogue, you don't even read it. Oh, am I still here? What happened there? Technical difficulties, folks. I don't know what happened there. But that's, as I was saying, that's not the scouts' fault. That's you lot's fault. And I think that is a side of our argument that doesn't really get spoken about. Sometimes it's nothing to do with the scouts. Sometimes people are not listening to scouts. So are the scouts really the problem? But I don't know, man. Just a different perspective. Arsenal moving like a bruised banana. Psh. Well, to be fair, man, they normally make good banana fritters, you know what I mean? Still don't know what win now means. If you know, you know. If you don't, you slow, man. It's all those tabs he has open. But hey, I knew the tab police would arrive. I hate our scouts. They have done nothing since Martinelli and the manager arrived. I disagree with that for obvious reasons. Job should have gone Leverkusen instead of Dortmund, so he doesn't have to live up to his brother's hype. To be fair, Bellingham, younger Bellingham, you're never going to escape that, innit? Like, it's just some things that are going to happen. It's not, nobody really says it, but it's like Kluivert with a famous dad. You've mentioned Bellingham, you know, boy, I feel sorry. Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo's sons, if you lot try and kick ball, it's peak. I'm sure, well, none of them have gone on to do anything in the game like that, but Zidane's sons, completely off topic, yeah, but Zidane, You might have to do a DNA test. What do you mean one of your sons is a goalie? Big Zidane, and the son's becoming a goalie. You definitely didn't believe, whichever one of his sons was a goalie, you didn't believe in him. You knew he was a myth, man. You knew he was a myth. But yeah, you're never like, it is what it is. Some of you are betraying your eye test if you think there's similarities between Sesko and Havertz aside from them being tall. Right. Why don't